voice of Nassau Community College.
A 2019 Marconi Award finalist from the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is 90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD Garden City.
Available anytime on your smart speaker.
And anywhere on iHeartRadio.
90.3 WHPC. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box, part of the WHPC Sports Talk family. We're here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., but Sports Talk's available Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and also on Thursdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. If you have a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440. We'd love to hear from you. I am Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, is my award-winning sports writer brother and co-host, Tim Leonard. Hello, Timothy.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are things in Timland?
They're good.
Sure?
Having a good Monday so far.
Okay, well, that's good. Anyway, there's so much to talk about, as there always is when it comes to a week of sports. We're only on an hour, so we have to pick and choose. Where do you want to start, brother? The Mets? The Yankees?
We can start anywhere you like, brother.
Let's start with those horrible uniforms from the weekend. What is going through Major League Baseball's mind when they come up with this stupid idea?
They want to sell merchandise,
but who's going to buy? It looks like the people wearing the white uniforms. You know, basically they stood in front of a paint gun until they were covered, and the same with the black uniforms. And as our program director said just moments ago, he goes, don't these guys at MLB have any graphic designers there? Because you couldn't tell what was on the back of their uniforms or their number or anything.
The white uniforms especially.
It was horrible.
The white uniforms especially were tragic.
Oh, my.
I don't know.
And who's the idiot who buys this stuff? Who says, I got to go buy this because I just saw it on television? You know, who says that?
Well, that's a lot of fans because the fans want the latest and greatest. There are some fans who that's how they think. If they see the team wearing something, then boom, they want it. So that's unfortunately that's the world we live in is that people are influenced by that. But like I said, I mean, as far as I was concerned, the white uniforms and the white hats. They needed more of a border because you couldn't read it.
You couldn't read it. It was horrible.
And the white helmets especially were just abominable.
Yeah.
I mean, it just people said, all the players look like stormtroopers.
Yeah, they did.
They looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well.
It was just this overwhelming sea of white, and you really could barely make out team names, numbers, players' names, because the border around all of that stuff, which should have been just straight up black, instead it was just like it seemed like it was like a shade of light gray. So you really couldn't see it. It got swallowed up by the white. So yeah, there were a lot of critics. David Cohn said on the Yankee broadcast, he said straight up on Friday, "I'm not a fan of these white uniforms. You can't see anything." Like who was the person who thought it was a good idea to put names and numbers on the backs of uniforms and you can't even see what they are?
Right.
He said they were especially bad on television. And that's what Coney was talking about.
Well,
so good for Coney.
He's right about
to stick
that.
Up for the fans.
But it's just stupid looking to begin with. Why does everything have to be a merchandise grab type of thing? Where
it's professional sports.
I know that, but it's like the third uniform for the hockey players. For the hockey, and it's like, you know what? The Islanders still look like crap in black. I'm sorry. I know it's a Saturday thing or something. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it looked like crap. They have a classic thing. So do the Rangers. The Rangers.
Who has the most classic uniform in all of the world? The New York Yankees.
Okay, maybe.
And they were wearing these black atrocious. I mean, that the New York Yankees are a brand, and part of that brand is the Yankee pinstripes.
Of course.
So the fact that the Yankees are wearing these abominable black uniforms, and I don't even mind the names because that's kind of fun, but
it reminded me of bad softball
Well, that's what it is.
nicknames,
But that's that the MLB thinks that makes everybody relatable.
It doesn't.
Like Aaron Judge wearing on the back of his jersey, instead of wearing All Rise, he wore BAJ because it stands for Big Aaron Judge. Apparently, like in college, they made a lineup, and he looked at the lineup and he didn't see his name, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm not in the lineup." And they said, "Oh yeah, you are. Take another look." And he was like, "Where?" And somebody said, BAJ, that's you. And he's like, BAJ. And it's like, yeah, Big Aaron Judge. And it's like, come on, man, that's just horrible.
That's just stupid.
That was like, I'm going to give a shout out to my man Robbie Randazzo at CBS, because when he put me on the schedule last year and I came in, and the one time where I was like a minute early. Usually I'm there good 20 minutes to a half an hour early, but I'm come running in, grabbing my sheets to do my job, and I look at the schedule and I don't see my name. And I go over to him. It's like, what's going on? I said, I got to get into a cube. I said, where's my name? He goes, you're on there. And I'm like, where? He goes, look again. And I saw he likes to call me Francesa, so he had me on the schedule as Francesa.
You do look like Francesa.
But that, I mean, when you're a minute early and you're rushing to get to what you have to do, you're looking for your own name. You're not looking for Francesa.
Yeah, you like Diet Coke and you like making fun of people.
Well, I'm not saying there aren't similarities, but I'm a New York radio icon. It's the same kind of thing. But that, as far as these uniforms go, I didn't hear anybody who liked them. There were not compliments. There were not. I didn't understand the whole black and white thing. No color. It just irked me, and it irked a lot of people. And I don't know. Maybe that's what Major League Baseball's going for. Maybe they just want people talking about it. But
there's better things to do, like better baseball. There was a great article in yesterday's Daily News by Bill Madden talking about why the attendance situation in Major League Baseball keeps going down. And one of the things he brought up, which was an excellent point, I wanted to bring it up. He brought up the fact that going to see a starting pitcher now is a 5 or 6 inning thing.
Right.
So if you want to see Jacob deGrom, let's say.
The Grommer, as I like to call him.
And all of a sudden, let's say you go, oh, he's only going to pitch 5 or 6 innings, maybe 7. He's not going to do a complete game.
Well, Grommer he'd probably go 7.
Okay, we'll say
he went 7 the other day, didn't he?
He did go 7.
There you go.
But he probably could have gone 9.
Not really.
Well, they lost. They could have gone 9. But the fact that you might, he mentioned like great pitching duels, like Seaver, Bob Gibson, and all these other ones from his time, and our time too, if you think about it.
Right.
That those guys would pitch 9 innings, and that as a baseball fan, you would appreciate it more because they did pitch 9 innings and they were always great, or tried to be great at least. Where nowadays, that the pitcher's going to be taken out no matter what. Because someone said, many years ago, 100 pitches. No one will pitch over 100 pitches.
That's wrong.
100 pitches.
You keep bringing this up, and you're always wrong.
But I'm right on this,
no,
brother.
You're wrong
yes.
on this.
I'm sick and tired of watching games and saying, well, he has 75 pitches in the fourth inning. Who cares?
Plenty of pitchers go 100, 110, 115 pitches. Happens all the time. All right? But once you start getting into like 120 range, especially in a regular season game, it's idiotic because now you're pushing your pitcher far
but
beyond.
Part of the deal now with pitching is they pitch every 5 games instead of every 4 games.
So
in the old days when they'd go 9 innings and they'd pitch 3 games later, it's much shorter distance. Nowadays it's much bigger distance.
And this is how they have been raised and trained. So you can't compare what's going on today with what was happening that many years ago.
I can.
It's wrong.
I think I'm right.
Apples and oranges.
Which makes a nice smoothie.
This is how pitchers are trained today. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I don't think pitchers should be pitching every fourth day, but every 5th day seems to be what works. Although that being said, there's Tommy John surgeries all left and right. So, back then, how many pitchers blew out their arms and then tried to pitch and found out they couldn't and had to retire?
Well, instead of pitching 99, pitch 94,
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way. You throw. That's what it is. There's not too many pitchers out there who aren't going to throw max effort with every pitch. Well, you can't train somebody who can throw 99. Just throw 94. He
had some good points about
Madden always has good points. I'm not arguing with Madden. I'm arguing with you and your ridiculous notion that 100 pitches. First of all, if you look at
who came up with 100 pitches?
Look at this. It has nothing to do with 100 pitches, bro. You are the one who was obsessed with 100
I
pitches.
am not obsessed. That's
Yes,
what they
you are
say.
obsessed.
They say, well,
You
he's going
bring
over
this
100.
up every 3 weeks. I don't want to talk about it.
But it's the truth.
No, it's not the
It
truth.
is. It's not every 3 weeks.
Garbage.
It's every 6 weeks.
It's what you are what you need to figure out. You need to look at stats. One of these days, you're actually going to look at stats. All right, you'll see that when pitchers their first time through a lineup, their second time through a lineup, and third time through a lineup. The third time through a lineup for every pitcher in baseball, every starter is decidedly the batting average for opposing batters is decidedly higher. Yet you want them to keep pitching.
If you're pitching well, sure.
But they're not pitching well. That's the point.
Well,
it's rare when a pitcher is going into the 7th or 8th inning and still has the same kind of stuff that he has in the first or second. You don't want to acknowledge that pitchers get tired. You don't want to acknowledge that throwing 100 or 105 pitches actually takes something out of a pitcher's arm. You just want them to keep throwing like they're robots.
No, I don't
I don't
want the robots. This is the
But
Atlantic
this is what
League.
you keep saying.
It's not true.
Stop saying it.
No.
It's wrong. Period. It is wrong. I don't understand. I don't know how else to say it. You can't just tell a pitcher.
It's not just wrong.
Go throw 140 pitches every inning or every game.
I'm not saying 140.
But that's what you're saying.
I am not saying. Did I say 140? You just said 140.
Give me a number.
125.
Why?
I don't know. Why? It's the same as 100.
No, it's not the same
Yes,
as 100.
It is.
25 pitches is 2 innings.
Depends on the inning.
It's two good innings.
12 pitches in an inning.
It would be a great inning.
If someone did that, sure.
So now if somebody, first of all, I said it's a great inning. An average pitcher probably goes about 15 to 17 pitches an inning.
If that.
That gets you to 6 or 7 innings.
Okay.
So 125 gets you to 8.
Maybe.
So
I'd rather have him pitch
How are you going to complete game?
I'd rather have Jacob deGrom pitch 8 innings than 7 or 6.
It depends on the game.
If the Mets are close to winning a game, I want Jacob deGrom out there for every moment he can pitch.
And in a 1-1 game, if Jacob deGrom's turn at bat comes up in, say, the 7th inning, do you not want the Mets to pinch hit for him?
Depends on where they are in the game.
I just said it's 1-1 in the 7th.
I don't know. Jacob deGrom's hitting homers, so maybe that would help.
2 a season. Come on. Seriously?
More than most pitchers. He helped. He should have helped the Mets win last week against the Braves.
Yeah, that's because the Mets can't hit all of a sudden.
Well, yeah. I know.
Well, they couldn't hit against the Braves anyway.
Well, I'm just saying. There's nothing. The 100-pitch thing is very. Someone just came up with it.
No, it's. Again, I'm telling you why, and you're ignoring me.
I am not ignoring you.
You need to stop ignoring me.
You have to understand that maybe I'm right occasionally, brother.
I understand that maybe you're right occasionally. You're wrong about this.
I am right about this.
No, you're not right about this.
I am right as always.
Ask Phil Madden about it next time you talk to him.
I will.
He'll tell you.
We're going to have him on.
He'll tell you.
We'll get him on again.
Because, like I said,
He'll believe with
every starting pitcher in baseball, the third time through the order, which is where you're going when you get to the 6th or 7th inning,
yes,
batting average is soar.
Okay.
So why would you want to keep that pitcher in when you have a bullpen whose job it is
then
to
why
get
pitch him every 5
out?
games? Let's go back to 4 games. Every 4 games they pitch. Let's have a 4-man rotation.
Why?
Instead of 5. Because if you're going to pitch less,
I say this every time you bring this up. All you want to do is hurt pitchers.
No,
I don't
don't
understand it.
You make it sound like I want to hit him with
do.
baseball bat. No, I don't.
You do.
No,
you
I
want
don't.
You want them to throw 125 pitches. Now you want them to pitch every 4th day and throw 125 pitches.
Well, if you're going to have them
way.
throw 100, let's say they pitch 6 innings and that's it. 6 innings, we're taking them out because after the last 3 innings they just can't throw pitches anymore. Let's say they do that. Okay, let's get them on 4 because if that's all they can do is the first 6 innings, then they should pitch every 4 days instead of every 5 days.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that they're throwing less and their effectiveness.
They're not throwing less.
Their effectiveness works better in 6 innings. So you'd want them to pitch more.
But they're not throwing less. If a pitcher throws 110 pitches to get through 6 innings, which isn't very, very efficient, but if they do that and they get through 6 innings and then give up 1 or 2 runs, I'd be thrilled with that. But now you want that pitcher to pitch every 4th day, so you're taking a day of recovery away from the pitcher.
But if they're going
for
to
no other reason than you think so.
If you know they're going to pitch 5 or 6 innings, well, why not? Or especially if you're using him as not a starter, but you use a reliever as that starter, whatever the official term or opener.
Who pitches 1 inning?
Yeah. So then he comes in the second inning and he goes to the 7th or 8th. What's the difference?
I don't understand your logic here at all.
Why don't you every inning you just have a new pitcher? Get rid of starting pitching.
Look, I'm going to throw something at you. Hopefully you remember this.
I won't.
Do you remember Billy Martin with the Oakland A's?
I remember Billy
back
Martin.
with the days with Mike Norris, Matt Keogh, Steve McCaddy, those guys. Do you remember that team?
I remember Matt Keogh, yeah.
Billy Martin had 4 pitchers that year who threw 300 innings.
Well, I'm not saying to throw 300 innings.
Well, if they start every 4th day and pitch like you want them to, that's what's going to happen. They're each going to start 40 games.
Let's see, 40 games.
Times 7 innings. 280 innings.
280.
That's what you want.
Yeah, why not?
Every one of those pitchers in 2 years was out of baseball because their arms were dead.
Well,
that's what you're endorsing. Just so you know.
Well, how many pitchers screw their arms up anyway, brother? If you're going to look at it that way.
Now you're going back to my point about you don't care about hurting pitchers.
Yes, because that's all I want to do. I want to just hurt them.
Well, you cavalierly say this, that the pitcher's health doesn't matter and they should throw as many pitches as you want them to.
But you're also saying that a pitcher after 6 innings can't pitch anymore. And the fact
I'm not saying that.
So you might as well just have one pitcher per inning.
Stop.
That's it.
Stop.
That's it.
That's just idiotic.
Why not?
I'm saying that the pitcher's workload is determined by several factors. Number 1 is how well the pitcher is performing. Number 2 is how the stats from all of his previous bodies of work are computed into what is going on with him as a pitcher. So if let's say Domingo Germán last night got through 6 innings.
Right.
He pitched very well. I have no idea how many pitches he threw. Maybe you can look that up. But Domingo Germán, did I think he might pitch a 7th inning? Yeah, I did. But you know what the other part of that is? Is Domingo Germán has the best bullpen in baseball behind him. So Aaron Boone doesn't need to max out his starting pitchers or run the risk of having them get into trouble before he brings in his bullpen. So he can go to Adam Ottavino, who's one of the best relievers in baseball, and say, hey, Otto, we need you for the 7th inning.
Let's talk about the Mets. They don't have the best bullpen in the league.
I'm not talking about the Mets right now. I'm talking about the Yankees.
I'm just saying.
I know. You're always just saying. But my point is that this is how baseball is today. This is how all of these players have been raised. And you want them to all of a sudden change. You want them not only to throw 125 pitches, but do it every 4th day instead of every 5th. So now it's one less day of recovery, which means injuries are more possible because they have less recovery time.
But they also pitch less. So if you're not going 9 innings, and you're only going 6.
Who's pitching less? I don't understand what you're talking about pitching less.
If they're not pitching 9 innings, that means they're pitching less. So if they're pitching 6 innings, that means they play 2/3 of a game instead of a game.
Let's move on. This is a ridiculous topic.
I'm just saying.
It's just ridiculous.
Thank you, brother.
It's ridiculous. I can't even talk about this anymore. That's how ridiculous it is.
Thank you, brother. Anyway, I'm glad you're in a good mood.
It's absurd. So anyway,
we got to take a break.
No.
Yes. We'll take a break. This is the perfect time to take a break. And we'll be back right after this.
Okay. Go.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
Lent.
Finally, it's over.
Let's talk about a gentleman that went viral who says that he just drank beer.
What? Wait, so did this guy just choose one beer?
More than 40 days into his beer-only fast,
Okay.
Paul says his, can't read, Pilates is incredible.
His Pilates?
What?
Pilates. P-A... Oh, palate.
Oh, my goodness.
Palate.
Oh, my God. I can't. Oh, my God.
Did you even look at the word before you started reading it?
All right, now, so let's talk about his Pilates.
Shut the hell up.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Smile.
Are you telling the microphone to smile so you could take a picture of it?
Yeah. So, which side do you think is its good side?
It's just a microphone.
I know, it's a microphone. Perfect. I think I'll put the Lark filter on it.
Why did you take a picture of the microphone, and who cares what filter you're going to use?
You'd care if you followed 903 WHPC on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Wait, I want to go viral. Take a picture of me. Get my good side and use that Lark filter.
Follow 903 WHPC on Instagram and join the conversation from the voice of Nassau Community College.
I said get my good side. Delete that.
Oh.
That's 903 WHPC on Instagram from 90.3 WHPC.
We're back here on From the Press Box. We've given Timmy some tranquilizers. He gets angry sometimes at me for being a little different when it comes to thoughts of baseball. Anyway, brother, Yankees.
I want you to use logic, brother. That's what I want. I want logic. And being different? No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way.
It does. Anyway, I see Aaron Judge is pretending as Lou Gehrig. Promised a fan he'd hit a home run.
And did it.
Is this prior to the Yankees?
Pretending to be Lou Gehrig. He was Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
And that was Babe Ruth, by the way, not Lou Gehrig.
I thought Lou Gehrig promised 2 in prior to the Yankees.
Right,
remember?
well, yeah, but Aaron Judge only promised 1.
Oh, okay.
Babe Ruth did that a few times.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Anyway, the Yankees, they were swept by Oakland. How'd that happen, brother?
They never play well in Oakland, and that's why last week when I said if they go 5-4 on this road trip out west, I'd be happy because they never play well in Oakland. They always lose that series. Obviously getting swept was not a good thing, but they didn't play well. Nothing went right, and like seemingly it always does in Oakland. But whatever. You come back, you take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers in what a lot of people think is going to be a World Series preview, and the trip might be 2-4, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
By the way, did you hear that Oakland wants to build a stadium for the A's, and it's only going to be a maximum of like 27,000 people?
Why build it?
Yeah,
I did not hear that, but if that's the case, why build it? That's a minor league stadium.
Because they're trying to have it even smaller so it'll sell out because,
and what do they do when the team makes the postseason and all of a sudden 70,000 people want tickets?
Then it becomes a hot ticket, and that's why Citi Field is 42,000 instead of 55.
That's bad thinking. I'm not happy that the new Yankee Stadium is under 50,000 seats.
Yeah.
So I totally disagree with that line of thinking. You don't necessarily build huge so that you make it so it's not a hot ticket, but you don't build it so small that, first of all, how are they going to make money on 27,000 seats?
You raise the prices. But
that's idiotic.
Of course it is. But then again, the Mets and the Yankees have the moat. So.
Fenway Park, the Boston fans, they all complain, we don't make any money because our stadium only holds 37,000 or whatever it is. Why would anybody want to build a stadium that holds 10,000 less than that?
I don't know.
That's just dumb.
And the Red Sox are one of the richest teams in the league. What are they complaining about? And
they complain about everything because they're horrible. Look at them.
Are they making the playoffs
18 games back or something like that?
They making the playoffs this year?
No, not a chance. Okay. Absolutely not a chance.
Your boy Croce says otherwise.
Well, he's an idiot.
Okay, just checking.
So, but
anyway,
let's get back into baseball, brother. First of all, like you said, the Yankees they're going to Seattle tonight. I would like to see. I mean, you know what? If they take 2 out of 3 from the Mariners, that's a 4-5 trip. If you would have told me beforehand 4-5, I would have said, that's not so good. I don't like it. But at this point, 4-5, I'd be happy because I didn't expect to get to the Yankees to get swept by the Athletics. I also think the Yankees could wind up sweeping the Mariners. So who knows what's going to happen? But I think we have to talk about what happened yesterday. Domingo Germán, 6 strong, 1 run, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. Outduels Clayton Kershaw. Pretty significant.
Right.
Domingo Germán, brother, is now 17-3. All right? Wow. He is 17-3.
That's pretty good.
Did anybody even... I mean, I've never seen a guy go 17-3 and be so under the radar. Domingo Germán just keeps winning. He keeps, it goes out. He throws a 6-7 innings. Bada bing, bada boom. 1 run, 2 runs. Here you go. 7 strikeouts. I'm done. I'm going home. And here's the bullpen to finish it up. And cha-ching, another win. 17-3. It's ridiculous. Nobody's talking about him for the Cy Young. Nobody even mentions him. Why not? Yeah, I know. His ERA is a little over 4. I mean, his peripherals...
17-3.
His peripherals aren't what they need to be. And I know the sabermetrics people, what about this? What about this? He's 17-3.
You sound like me now.
I'm giving him a vote.
You sound like me.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Because the reason I'm giving him a vote is because just about every time he's pitched, he's given the Yankees a chance to win. So in that sense, he's a little like David Wells. In that sense, in that regard. Not even the rubber
alcohol?
arm. Not even the rubber arm. No, I don't think he likes alcohol, actually. But he comes in, he does a job. David Wells used to pitch to the score. If it was 8-0, David Wells would give up 6 runs and not worry about it because he was still winning. Herman, pretty much every time he pitches, it's 5-6 innings, maybe at the most 7, and 1, 2, 3 runs. He's kept the Yankees in just about every game he's pitched. Not everyone, because his last outing against the A's, he was terrible. He was giving up bombs left and right. But this kid is legit. He's 17-3. That's not an accident. That's not. Oh well, the league still has to figure him out. He's 17-3. They've had their chances to figure him out. They haven't figured him out because he's good. So we're still waiting for Luis Severino to come back. Still waiting. Apparently, he's going to take a bullpen this week. Injury. More Yankee injury news. Didi Gregorius left the game last night with a shoulder contusion. Is day to day. Luke Voit could be back later this week. I thought Luke Voit was done for the season because I heard core injury and I thought he was going to need surgery. But apparently, Luke Voit is ramping it up and has been doing some minor league rehab. Giancarlo Stanton could start taking batting practice in Seattle this week, brother. But with Stanton, we're running out of rehab assignment time because the minor league season's almost over. And also Jordan Montgomery. I know that's a name that probably a lot of Yankee fans have forgotten, but the left-handed pitcher did well in a minor league rehab start the other day. So he could be a bullpen addition in September, or who knows? I mean, I genuinely think that in the postseason that the Yankees are going to do a lot of mixing and matching. I don't think that they're necessarily going to say we need this guy to start. I think it's going to be Tanaka, Paxton, Herman, and I think CeCe might start, but if he starts, he's going to only go 4 innings or maybe 5 at the most. And I think Severino and maybe Montgomery or maybe Severino and CeCe will combine and maybe go 4 innings apiece in a game. I think Booney is gonna kind of mix and match like that because I think the Yankees for the postseason really only have 3 starters or 3 that can go any kind of significant innings. So I think that's what the Yankees are running into with this combination of injuries and rehabs and guys coming back and what's happening. Here we are a week away from September. These guys have a month before they need to figure it out. And I genuinely think, I don't think Severino's got enough time to build his arm up. But could he come in and throw 3-4 innings? Yeah, I think he could do that. And the less that CeCe has to pitch. I mean, CeCe right now, he's a 5-inning pitcher. I think in the playoffs he might ramp it up a little bit because I think he'll get some of that old adrenaline back and remember the kind of bulldog he's been throughout his career, especially in the postseason, and maybe try to gut his way through 5. But I don't see him pitching much more than that. I don't think he's capable physically of giving the Yankees much more than that these days. So I think pitching wise for the postseason, I think Aaron Boone is going to have at least one game where he doesn't necessarily go with an opener per se, but who knows? Maybe he does. Maybe he pitches Chad Green in the first inning and then brings in Severino after and goes to CeCe in the 5th. I wouldn't mind having CeCe come in either in the 5th or 6th inning of a postseason game where he knows what's on the line because he's been there before. So bring him in. If you throw him a couple innings or whatever, then if he gets into trouble, you still have the rest of the bullpen there to take him out of it. But I think they might have one game in that way. That I don't know why you're laughing.
So the Rob Leonard method of pitching, 1 pitcher per inning.
No,
almost.
No,
you have 3 for the game at least.
Well, 3 for the game. That's not 1 per inning. 9 is 1 per inning, brother.
I'm just saying.
Basic math here.
Rob Leonard's method of thought process is not bad. Anyway, brother, the Metsies, You have to beat the Braves at this situation at this point in the season if you're trying to make the wild card.
Yes and no.
You do, because they're in the same division. You're fighting against the Nationals or ahead of you, and plus you just have to win. Even if they were playing the Marlins, you still got to win these games.
That I agree with. We said last week, brother, that the Mets 6-3 would be a really good outcome for the series against the Indians, the Braves, and the Cubs. Now, at this point, I think 5-4 would be a really good result because the Mets still have 3 against the Cubs. They swept the Indians, which I was incredibly impressed with, and thought that was going to be kind of the booster that kind of sent them forward the rest of the season.
Yeah, well,
then
would have been nice.
Yeah, but then they come back and they lose 3 in a row to the Braves, who for 2 years in a row have been kicking the crap out of the Mets. I don't get it. The Mets lost twice, 2-1, and again, I have to put the entire series as far as this goes. Well, not the entire. At least 2 of these 3 games, I have to put on the offense because
there was none.
Because that's my point. The first 2-1 game, Jacob deGrom pitches great. Hits a home run, the Mets lose 2-1. When your pitcher is the only... This was Jacob deGrom last year.
Right.
Exactly. Yesterday, Dallas Keuchel goes 7 shutout innings. Josh Donaldson, who's a Swami, by the way, my guy, hits 2 solo home runs. And the Mets lose 2-1 again. You need hits. You have to figure it out. You have to find a way. That's just a fact. You in this time of the year, and you can say whether it's against the Braves or not, it almost doesn't matter to me. But like we said last week, in these 3 series, now if the Mets take 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, they come out of this at 5-4, which isn't horrible, but taking 2 out of 3 against the Cubs isn't easy.
But at this point of the season, where we're going for the wild card, and that's what that should be thinking about every.
They are,
but you keep losing.
Well,
you shouldn't lose. You should at least beat the Braves one of these games.
You have to acknowledge the fact, brother, that there are other good teams out there. All right, first of all, that's first of all. The Braves are a very good team.
I know that.
The Braves have figured out a way to upgrade their bullpen. They got Mark Melanson from the Giants at the trade deadline, and everybody thought that Melanson was shot. He's got a huge contract, and the Braves apparently took on all the money to take his contract, and he's pitched well for them. So I give him credit for that move. But they have figured out a way. They signed Keuchel as a free agent when he was after his contract period, because he was one of those guys who was a free agent, but nobody signed him because they didn't want to give up the first-round pick. So once the draft came, the Braves were very aggressive and signed Keuchel. In fact, the Yankees were looking into Keuchel too, and I was a little upset that they didn't sign him because it was just money, as they say. And I don't know how much more that would have put the Yankees over the luxury tax. But to me, even though the Yankees starting pitching this weekend looked good against the Dodgers, I thought bringing Keuchel in was something they should have done. But as far as the Mets go, right now they're 4 games over 500, and we keep saying this for the last couple weeks, 3 weeks probably. They need to get 10 games over 500. Call up the National League standings, brother. The first of all, the Nationals, Washington Nationals, are running away with the first wild card spot. And I saw a stat yesterday because I was watching them against the Cubs on ESPN. They're playing phenomenal baseball. Since they started the season, what do they say, 19-31. So that's a .380 winning percentage. Since then, they're playing like almost 700 baseball. It's ridiculous. They have, forget even the wild card, they have won. It's clinched as far as I'm concerned. Even though there might be 40 games left or 35 games left or whatever. The Nationals are getting one of the wild cards. So now the Mets need to get into a position where they need to get to 10 games over 500 because that's where any team that is going to have a shot at that second wild card is going to be.
Well, the Phillies are ahead of the Mets, too.
I know. I know. The Mets right now, they're still in 4th place in the National League East.
Right, but they are over 500.
Yes, they are. But 4 games. They need to get to 10 games over 500. Here, don't turn it. Because that's why.
Don't worry about it. People think there's an earthquake.
So we're looking at the Mets are 2 games back in the wild card race. They're a half a game behind Philadelphia, and like I said, Washington is 4 games ahead. You're looking at Milwaukee. you are, and well, that's basically it as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, the Giants are 4 games back. They're not really in it anymore. But those are the teams that you have to get ahead of. And you're not going to get ahead of those teams by playing 500 ball. You need to get games over 500. And the fact that the Mets are chasing 2 teams in their division, how far the Nationals are 6 games behind the Braves. So they're not catching the Braves. But they might contend with the Braves because the Nationals, like I said, the Nationals are playing very good baseball right now. But the Mets, they need to beat the Phillies when they play them. That's big. That's why to me beating the Braves isn't necessarily the be all and end all. But they need to win games.
But part of it is, I think any time you play against your own division, you should be trying to win very hard, or find a way to win.
But they're trying to win every time they play. I guarantee you this.
I'm sure that's the case. But if you keep losing, then something is missing.
Well, but that something being is better players. That's I'm sorry, that's how it is. I mean, you can't just say, well, they need to play better. You need better players.
I think they have a pretty good team, actually.
They do have a pretty good team, but they don't have a great team.
Well, I didn't say a great team.
Well, but to the playoffs, you need to be a great team.
I think just to make the
plain
wild
and simple
is an important thing.
Well, like I said, we keep saying this, and I keep saying this. They need to play 600 baseball, and if they can do that, then they'll have a decent chance of being in the wild card. How many more games do the Mets have? What are they, 67, 63, so that's 130 games. So they got 31 games left.
Right.
Out of 31 games...
They have to win 22.
No, they need to win about 19.
Well,
if they can get... So that would give them 86 wins?
If they with me, it would be 89.
Be 86 and 76. They probably need 88 wins. So whatever 88 wins, that's 19 wins.
So
19
right.
out of 31.
I said 22.
You said 22. That's not 19.
Yeah, well, 22 would be 89.
That means they'll go 22-9 in their last 31 games.
I'm just saying that.
That's a lot of wins. That's more wins than they're capable of. You need to talk in reality, brother. 22-9 is.
I'm a Mets fan. I don't believe in reality.
I know you don't, but that's my point. Is that you need to. There's got to be some reality here. But that is where the Mets are at this point. I think if they can get 19 more wins and get to 88, I think the Mets will make the playoffs. But will they get to 19 wins? That's 19 and 12 is...
It's not 19. 19 would be 85.
No.
86. I'm sorry, 86. They have 67 wins. That would be 86 wins.
So then time is running out because if they need 88 wins, like we said, 88 and 74.
So 21 wins. How's that?
Maybe 87.
21 and 12.
No, it's because they only have 31 games left. So not 21 and 12. It would be 21 and 10.
Oh, okay.
So that means they have to win 2 out of every 3 games they play. Again, that's asking a lot.
Let's do it.
It's asking a lot.
I'm asking.
Well, you just don't snap your fingers and this happens, brother. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Sometimes it does.
It doesn't work that way. Look at him.
Listening, Mets?
Yeah. Listening, Mickey Callaway. Snap your fingers, buddy.
Blink your eyes.
Do it like my brother. Snap your fingers. Magical things will happen.
We're going to take a break. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. Tim, you're at Twitter at
Real Tim Leonard.
All hit music. For all those songs radio has forgotten about. Join me, Big Ed, Mondays from 10 a.m. till noon for The Good Gold Show. We'll bring back all the great hits of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and more. The sounds of doo-wop to disco, all the Motown, soul, and great rock and roll. We'll even take your requests and dedications to The Good Gold Show.
Music.
On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday evening at 6 on Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday evening at 6 on Revelations, right here here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
A Super Bowl champion, U.S. Congressman, publisher of Long Island Business News, award-winning authors, physical fitness, life coach, and celebrities like Billy Crystal and Eddie Murphy. I had no idea so many awesome people got their start at Nassau Community College.
Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and Lion Tales are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50-plus years. Hosted by Aurora Workman, the president of Nassau Community College Alumni Association, and Dr. Linda Nadian, a proud Nassau graduate. Let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales, a Nassau Community College Foundation production. Listen every Monday afternoon at 3:30 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome back to Sports Talk. This show becomes, welcome back to From the Press Box, part of the Sports Talk family. And this show becomes a podcast later if you want to hear Tim's rant against me again, because it was such a great rant. It was like we were driving down to Maryland last week. Anyway,
man.
Yes. Anyway, brother, let's talk about something that I was a little shocked by. And that's the retirement of Andrew Luck.
Everybody was shocked by this, brother.
And
nobody saw this coming.
And
although the rumor is that he's actually been contemplating this for a couple of weeks now.
Well, there's a thing about, you keep getting hurt. You want to stop getting hurt, and the best way not to get hurt anymore as a football player is to retire. If you think about it that way. But at the same time, there's a lot of money in his contract. Couple of more years, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame if he'd kept playing at the level he was playing on. Why wouldn't you stay around?
To keep your faculties. I was stunned when I heard this announcement because Andrew Luck is a young quarterback. He's in the prime of his career. He's 29 years old,
right,
and has announced his retirement. And the reason is pretty simple. He talked about it at the press conference when he officially made the announcement. But he says his life has been basically a continuing pattern of injury, pain, rehab. So it's injury, pain, rehab. And he didn't want to be on that merry-go-round anymore. I think the thing that you have to remember with Andrew Luck, first of all, is this is a very intelligent kid.
Right.
He's Stanford educated. You don't get into Stanford if you're an idiot, even if you're a football player. But is a smart kid. He is thinking about his life after football. He's got plenty of money. He's made $97 million playing football. The Colts have told him he could keep his signing bonus, his prorated signing bonus from the contract that he's on, which was for 6 years and $140 million. There was still 3 years left on that deal. So he's not only walking away from that money, but he's also walking away from what likely would have been a contract that the Colts would have negotiated in 2 years that would have been worth minimum $35 million a year, if not 40. So figure 6 years and about $250 million. He's walking away from at least that much. And that's just a contract that takes him to 35. Never mind, he'd get another contract after that. But he's walking away from hundreds of millions of dollars. But it goes back to, if you're 29, if you're tired of being injured, he had shoulder surgery in 2017. He missed the entire season. He came back last season, threw 39 touchdown passes, was named Comeback Player of the Year. But if you're tired of being hurt pretty much all the time and constantly having to do rehab, constantly looking at surgery to fix yourself so you can play, it took the joy out of playing for him. He wasn't having fun anymore. So do you do it? Do you continue to play and do something you're not enjoying that is going to damage you physically. You know this. It's
Right.
It's not a maybe. He's going to be damaged by playing football. There's not a football player alive that isn't being damaged from playing the game. So, do you want to make that trade to say, all right, I'm going to make more money, a lot more money, but by the time I get to 50 or 60 years old, who knows what my quality of life is going to be like? I might not have a quality of life.
Well, not every player loses that quality of life.
It's not every player, but let's face it, quarterbacks get hit in the NFL.
Right.
And that's an every play kind of thing. You're getting hit. And a lot of times you're getting hit really hard by 300-pound guys who somehow can run 4.6. So that's a lot of mass and a lot of force. So the thing that Luck said, he said he felt stuck in playing in the NFL. And he said the only way out, because again, with the whole injuries and everything it took just to get back into an NFL game, he said the only way out is to no longer play football. So he's playing for his own physical health, but also his own mental health, because I think that was part of it. Again, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then why do it?
Well, let's look at it another way. Some people said that he's retired. First of all, some people said that he was retiring to get away from the Colts and that he would come back. Now, I'm not sure that. Well,
he can't. He
depends on contracts.
He would still
like
be
that.
Colts property. He's got another 3 years on his deal, so he would be Colts property.
Well,
for
they
another
also
3
let
years.
him keep that money, and that would probably be
the Colts. And that was, I tell you what, that's very generous by the Colts. They let him keep $24 million in bonus money.
Well,
thank you very much.
It was already in their budget. So
it wasn't necessarily in their budget. They could have legally, filed a suit to get that money back, and not even likely, absolutely would have won. But
what about
that leaves the door open for Luck to come back?
Okay, let's say he decides, you know what, I need a year off just to clear my head, to let everything heal, and maybe next year he returns.
But he just had that year. He had that year in 2017. He had the shoulder surgery. He didn't play. So he had an entire year off. He came back. He's been in training camp this year, and he's been dealing with a calf issue.
Right.
Now, Andrew Luck is a quarterback who relies on his legs to escape trouble and to try to keep himself healthy. His legs get him out of a lot of trouble. If he feels like he can't escape from pass rushers and tacklers, he's probably feeling more vulnerable and thinks that he's more inclined to get hurt more and worse. And I think that's also part of the decision he made.
Let's say next year the Colts get an offensive line that's workable. Let's say
their line is not good. It's a little better than last year, but it's not good.
Right.
And,
So
and
let's
they've never really dealt with that issue.
Well, let's say next year they say, oh, you know what, Andrew Luck will come back if we get a better offensive line. Personally, just as a player, obviously he doesn't want to get hurt again, but he hasn't had any concussions or anything, from what we know of. There are more other injuries that heal and go away. It's not like someone like Jim McMahon who's having brain issues and other players who've had.
I saw
brain
something
issues.
on 60 Minutes last night. Tim Green, a former defensive lineman, mostly for the Falcons, he's got ALS. A lot of former NFL players are coming down with ALS, and the reason, according to doctors and science, they can't prove it, but they're saying football is a big cause of that because of all the hits. It's a contributing factor for sure.
I have no doubt that some of it is. I like what Joe Namath did something with the freeze thing, and he said it helped him.
What freeze thing?
It's something where you
cryogenics.
It's something where you like put your body in like literally frozen ice, and it just
in dry ice. Yeah, that's the cryogenics. That's Antonio Brown did that a few weeks ago, and because I think he wore flip flops. What an idiot. He got extreme frostbite on his feet.
Oh,
because he didn't wear the right footwear. If you're going into a thing that's like minus 40 degrees or whatever, minus 100 degrees, I don't even know.
It's a huge amount.
You put on proper footwear.
Yeah, there should be something they said to him.
This guy Antonio.
So anyway, one thing about Andrew Luck at 29, he's probably not going to the Hall of Fame with his stats at the current point. Now, a guy like Jim
I would
Brown,
think it's unlikely, although his numbers were outstanding.
Right, but
for the number of games he played.
He only, played 7 years?
7 years.
If
He, in the number of games he has played, if you compare it to other quarterbacks in the league and other Hall of Fame quarterbacks, he was third on the touchdown list. I saw a chart on ESPN last night. Dan Marino was first, but Luck was third on that list for number of touchdowns in the number of games that he played. I don't remember how many number of games that was. But obviously this guy was on a track to have a Hall of Fame career.
Right.
Now, will he make the Hall of Fame now? I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it, but it's possible.
He only played...
Because his numbers were phenomenal.
He's only played 86 games. He doesn't account for 2017 because he wasn't there.
Right.
So 6 seasons total. Do you think that, in his head he might say, you know what, I'd really like to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I don't think he cares.
Well,
again, I think his motivation here is his own personal health, and I think that if he thinks he can get out of football now with he's had shoulder, like I said, he's had shoulder surgery, he's had torn cartilage in 2 ribs, a partially torn abdomen. I don't know how you do that. Lacerated kidney, at least 1 concussion. Let's face it, he's a quarterback. He's probably had a half a dozen. A torn labrum in his throwing shoulder. That was the big surgery he had, and this calf ankle injury that he's having right now. So that's a lot of injuries, and it's a lot of rehab. It's a lot of pain he's had to deal with.
Right.
He to me, I'm looking at this, and I don't. I'm just. This is an educated guess. I think he's tired of having to do rehab. He's tired of being in pain. He's tired of NFL doctors pushing painkillers on him and say, just take this, you'll feel better. I think the kid just is saying, you know what? I've made about $100 million in my career. Even if you take out the taxes for that, which obviously you have to, that's still about $50 million.
Yeah,
He's set for life where he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. I'm sure he's done promotions and advertisements, so he's probably got another $5 million on top of that. So this is a guy, again, intelligent guy, wants to stay an intelligent guy, wants to travel the world, got a great-looking wife. I think he just wants to live the rest of his life and know that whatever he does in the future, it's not going to involve having a 300-pound guy trying to take his head off.
Right.
And I don't see anything being wrong with that. The big problem that I had was that word of this leaked out at the Colts exhibition game the other night. And the Colts fans booed him mercilessly. And I want to say this. I want to say this right now. I want to say this right now. Andrew Luck owes you nothing.
Well, that's true.
He owes you nothing. He has to take care of himself. He has to take care of his family. If he's concerned about injuries and his own future, then he owes you nothing. And to sit there and boo a guy who did everything he could to come back last year and play for your team and your city, and to boo him after he's given you 7 years of his life and gone through all of the injuries and all the hits that he has, I don't understand that. I don't understand how people turn on somebody like that, because what else do you want the guy to do? Do you want him to become brain damaged just because you want him to play another 5 years or 10 years or whatever it is? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Players play because they love the game. And when they don't love the game anymore, or when they're too physically incapacitated to be able to play the game anymore, then they leave. Now, Andrew Luck is leaving in the prime of his career. 29 years old.
More than prime of his career.
29 years old. He is right smack dab in the middle of the prime of his career. And he's walking away. So that should tell you how much of a decision this was for him. This is not a 37 or 38-year-old quarterback saying, you know what, I think it's time. Because my performance is diminishing and these younger guys are just getting faster and faster and I'm worried about getting killed. Andrew Luck is walking away at 29 like very few guys ever have done. No quarterback that I know of anyway, especially in this age range, no quarterback has ever walked away from the NFL after a Pro Bowl year. And Andrew Luck had a Pro Bowl season last year. So
what about Barry Sanders?
Barry Sanders wasn't quarterback.
Oh.
But Barry Sanders is another guy who along those same lines. He walked away, and people are, Barry, what are you doing? You're an all-time great. You can't walk away now. You're still at an elite level. And Barry's like, I'm done. Calvin Johnson did the same thing, Megatron. He said, I don't feel like playing anymore.
And Jim Brown, too.
I'm not enjoying it.
Jim
Brown.
Famous one.
Jim Brown, the pride of Manhasset. Same thing. Just walked away and said, you know what? And Jim Brown, now, he's an old man. And if his faculties are declining in any way, it's because he's old. Not because of football.
Well, he also had a career as an actor for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100 Rifles with Raquel Welch.
Well, I have no idea what Andrew Luck is going to do. Maybe he'll do TV. Who knows? But at this point in his life, he doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to do anything he doesn't want to do because he's got at least $50 million that he earned playing football.
Right.
He had that lottery ticket and he played it. He didn't play it as much as he could have. Because he could have had another couple $100 million easy, but it's easy for me to say easy. I don't have 300-pound guys wanting to take my head off. It's not that easy, and that's the point. It's not that easy. It's every week of being in pain and having to go through rehab and having to sacrifice your body in that way to earn that money.
Right.
And you got to look at these players as people. And not just as the guy you watch on Sundays and forget that he's a person and not a robot, which kind of goes back to throwing 140 pitches in a game. But these guys,
140 pitches,
these guys are human beings.
125.
These guys are human beings, and they need to make decisions in their lives. And Andrew Luck has obviously decided, you know what? I don't want to play football anymore because I want to have a rest of my life, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life, and I don't want to be, I don't want to be walking on crutches or not being able to raise my arm above my head so I can't put my shirt on. So, I say as much as I'm shocked and saddened by this, I say good for you, Andrew Luck. Enjoy the rest of your life because you did what you needed to do, and you played your lottery ticket. You won, and you don't owe anybody anything.
I think he comes back. I
don't think he will.
I
genuinely, based on what he said and how he said it, I definitely don't think he's coming back. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he feels any need to. I don't think he cares about Hall of Fame or any of that stuff. I think his number one priority at this point is his own health, and you don't have anything. He's not going to do anything but endanger his health if he comes back. So if that is the reason, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason because that's what he said in the press conference, there's no way he's coming back because it would be a mistake to come back. So anyway, what do we got? 2 minutes, brother?
Well, I got to just read this quickly. Don't forget about the Unforgettables every Saturday at 9 p.m. Join host Michael Anthony as he presents 2 hours of jazz and standards with artist profiles and guests who make the music happen. That's the Unforgettables every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. We got a minute and a half. Big Ed is here.
Big Ed? Hey. Let's see. We got, you know what? One quick other thing about the Andrew Luck thing. If Dave Gettleman isn't getting on the phone with the Colts and saying, hey, you can have Eli, then he's not doing his job as a GM. Because Daniel Jones has played pretty well in the preseason, and I'm not going to say he's played great because he's played against mostly second-string defenses. But the Giants are not going to they're not going to be good this year. So if you can get a first-round pick for Eli, and I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know he's not getting a first-round pick, but I'm saying ask for it and see. And throw Daniel Jones into the fire for this year and say, hey, go get him. It's not going to make a difference with the Giants' record. They're still going to be a 4-win team. So see if the Colts would give you something for him.
I don't think that would happen.
But
though it would be interesting that Eli would go to a team that got rid of his brother.
Treated his brother well. I'm sure Peyton has nothing but good things to say.
Remember the going away press conference, and the owner of the Colts is crying.
Well,
so
they're in a vulnerable situation. They need a guy. The season starts in 2 weeks. They got Jacoby Brissett, he's been a backup, but can he be a starter?
Anyway, we're ending the show right now. Big Ed is. Are you ready, Big Ed? Yeah. Ready? Big Ed's ready. He's back. He's live.
Yes.
He's here to reclaim what is Big Ed's.
I don't know what that is.
The gauntlet's been left on the road again, and Big Ed has picked it up, as he does every week.
Has Big Ed claimed Karis LeVert's 3-year, $52 million extension from the Nets?
No, but he has enough money, Big Ed.
See how I work that in?
Big Ed has money. God, he's got Big Ed money. That allows him to buy Jack and Coke anytime he wants. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back in 167 hours with more from the Press Box. It'll be on Spreaker.com as a podcast in a couple of hours. And thank you for listening. Big Ed's coming up next. Take care and bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.